welcome back to the Standard Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jono.
And I'm your host, Chris, and we are here with the NFC West. These are the Super Bowl losers in this division, and probably one of the worst teams in football last year. Not due to any fault of their own, but because their quarterback was injured for 70% of the year. That offense couldn't do anything. But there's some exciting players in this division, and I really, really like this team. I think this might be one of the most competitive divisions in football this year. You look at the Cardinals got better, the Seahawks got better, the Rams are still good, and then San Francisco is just San Francisco.
Well, the thing about this is this division has pass catchers that I want a piece of from every team.
I want a piece of it.
Every team. I
want a piece of it, and they're going to be high-scoring teams in this division.
So let's start off with Kyler Murray here. Biggest thing about Kyler Murray, in my opinion,
for those of you who are wondering, this is the Arizona.
Yeah, we're going to go with the Arizona Cardinals here. We're going like we've done worst to first. So we'll start with Kyler Murray. I love Kyler Murray. I've been a Kyler Murray believer since he's been a rookie. I had him on our league. I kept him for a couple of years too as well. Injuries have not been kind to him. That ACL tear was rough a couple of years ago. Last year was his first year back from it. We know how it is first year back off ACL, especially with a rushing quarterback like him. I didn't expect big things. He did throw pretty well last year, and that's the thing is everybody expects him as this big-time rushing quarterback. But like Josh Allen, they're very different than Lamar Jackson. These guys can throw for 4,000 yards. So, and that's the beauty of a Kyler Murray pick. One more year removed, I expect the rushing to go up too as well. So I'm looking to find him in the 7th round all day, every day if I don't get one of those top two in Hurts or Allen.
Yeah, and he's one of my better value quarterbacks to own. Where you can get him in the 7th and 8th round, like he's great right there. It's him and Jordan Love that I love drafting at that position. With Kyler Murray, we saw last year when he came back from the injury what it did for this offense. This offense was no longer anemic, and on top of that, they didn't have any playmakers. They had the offense was James Conner and Trey McBride. Hollywood Brown had a down year last year. They had injuries there. The young wide receiver core, who they reshuffle a little bit. Obviously, they bring in Marvin Harrison. So there's a lot more weapons on this team now for Kyler Murray.
They upgraded wide receiver. They've got another year with the tight end that's presumably, he's going in the top 3 picks for tight ends here this year. And then you've got James Conner along with a good, talented young running back behind him. I just think the offensive line is being built up in the draft each year. It's gotten better. I think, to me, this is probably – we should see the ADP go up on Kyler Murray like we saw it for Dak Prescott.
So this is probably going to be, this year. We talked very different circumstances, but last year we talked about the Houston Texans being the most improved team, and I think the Arizona Cardinals, you could make the argument, are just going to probably be the most improved team this year. We saw their defense play fairly well last year and keep them in games for the most part. Again, they come back second half of the season, they play the Eagles, they beat the Eagles. With Kyler Murray back, if they had a sustainable offense, this defense is good enough to keep them in games. Now, with Kyler Murray and James Conner, these are probably my 2 favorite value picks at their positions. James Conner is probably my best value running back that you can get. Top 10 upside from a running back position that you're going to get in the 5th, 6th round.
Oh, yeah. We talk about it in our last mock draft. If you have any chance, go take a look at the related videos.
And while you're at it, go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that notification button to stay tuned to all of our future content as we drop it. Notification button really helps out. Leave a comment. If you hate it, leave a comment. We're here. We're willing to talk about it.
I apologize for that. Let's keep moving on. James Conner is Mr. 0 RB, and the reason why I said go take a look at our mock draft is that's what Chris did.
Yep.
Chris went 0 RB. He took James Conner in the 6th round. It is the perfect guy to grab at that point. Ramondre Stevenson being another one where these guys are going to get the volume. They're the main guys. Yeah, maybe he may sieve carries to Benson because Benson is talented. But that being said, James Conner is hell-bent on going for over 1,000 yards himself this season. He was disappointed with how he finished last season. I thought he finished great. He wants to do more, and he has always done better with Kyler Murray at the helm. Like, he always has done better.
During the fantasy playoffs, he was RB1.
Yeah.
Like he, down the stretch, he performed. He was getting volume. And, yeah, I know they bring in Trey Benson. We'll shift the talk to the running back position. I know they drafted Trey Benson, and Trey Benson is extremely, extremely talented. He's going to be a spellback, and that's really what they're lacking. When James Conner has been beaten up, he hasn't had a long sustained injury in quite some time, but he does have these nagging ankle injuries. He'll keep him out a game or two. And when they brought in Michael Carter last year, traded with the Jets to bring him in,
Benjamin.
Yeah, Benjamin. Like, they haven't had firepower there at the running back position behind him, and I think Trey Benson definitely gives him. He's going to be the future. James Conner's shelf life is a normal running back shelf life. He's getting up there. How much more wear and tear can he take, because he is a physical runner? But I still like him, and I don't necessarily think that Trey Benson in a redraft league is going to have enough fantasy value
without injuries.
And that's what I think about any rookie running back this year.
Yeah.
But I think if there is an injury, this is a chance where he can take off.
Benson,
I
agree.
In this offense, because it is going to be a little bit more explosive, high flying. He's a good receiving back. He doesn't have a lot of wear and tear, so I don't think he's going to. Last year, even in Florida State, he didn't need a ton of touches in order to be effective. So I think he might have kind of that role, not the Devon Achane or Keaton Mitchell kind of role, but limited amount of touches where you could do a lot with.
Well, let's do a quick breakdown too on this. James Conner's a great pass protector. He's also a great pass catcher. But here's the thing.
And a great goal line back.
Benson's a great receiving back too as well. But receiving backs don't always get the receiving opportunities if you can't pass protect either. So, Benson versus Conner in pass pro, obviously I think they're probably going to lean Conner, but I do think they're going to,
especially because they're trying to protect their investment in Kyler Murray.
Yes, but I think Benson's going to get his opportunities. They're going to scheme him into the playbook. He's going to have his own set of plays that they're going to bring in there, because he has got a little bit more pep in his step. He's a little bit more shifty than James Conner. So I like the Benson pick. The problem with is because you're getting Conner so late, it's not like you're getting Conner early and then you can hinge your bets. Like, Benson is going later, but you're wasting 2 later picks from 6th round on Arizona running backs. There's a lot of other value out there at that point. But the value that Arizona does bring to the table are in their pass catching abilities with their tight end, their wide receiver. And speaking of their brand new wide receiver, in Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think this guy is a guy that he's going so high in the draft based on what the expectations are going to be of him. He was the first receiver off the board to Arizona in the NFL draft. He is going at the turn of the first, second round in fantasy football drafts. You got to hope that the problem is you're drafting him at a ceiling as a rookie wide receiver.
I don't think so.
I think you are. As a rookie wide receiver, you're drafting him at a ceiling.
I mean, I don't. Whether you are or you aren't, he's going to have volume there. It's the same reason, like when D-Hop was in this offense, we loved him in this value. There's no one else there really. Michael Wilson, Zay Jones, Greg Dortch, Trey McBride. There's no dominant alpha wide receiver. They get Marvin Harrison, who is a dominant wide receiver.
Yeah.
And he's going to get volume there. He's not a gadget guy either. He's not this just big play guy. He's a route runner. He's going to be efficient. He's going to get open. He's going to be a safety valve, especially in PPR. I would value him in the first round.
In PPR, yeah, I probably would too.
And think about the guys that you're taking him over, right? Are you taking him over Olave?
Oh, yeah.
Are you taking him over Drake London?
Yeah.
Are you taking him over Devontae Adams?
No.
Okay, so there's...
I draw my line because I just think Devontae Adams is one of the best.
Are you taking him over Puka?
So I have Puka and Devontae right after Puka right now. That's what I have.
You have Devontae right after Puka.
Yeah.
Right, so there's the cutoff right there.
I'm drafting him over Garrett Wilson.
Or Marvin Harrison?
Yeah. Like those guys right there to me are interchangeable.
So you value Puka, then Devontae Adams, and then Marvin Harrison, and then Wilson?
Like, I have them smashed together in a wide receiver sandwich.
I hate you so much.
Which, but I'm not torn in terms of who I have above anybody else. I'm kind of going with the guys I just like. Because to me, all of those guys can finish real close to each other at the end of the season.
Garrett Wilson was a 1,000-yard receiver with Zach Wilson as his quarterback.
That's fine.
He's going to get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's going to be a top 5 receiver.
Okay, so you look at what Kyler Murray did with DeAndre Hopkins. 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns, I think it was, for DeAndre Hopkins' first year in Arizona.
Yeah.
Best year, 115 catches. He did 115 in Houston with Deshaun Watson, but 11 touchdowns with 1,500 yards. So, there's the opportunity for Marvin Harrison to come, bless you, to come out there and actually go for 1,200 to 1,400 yards. I mean, I don't see him doing what Puka did last year. Nor do I see Puka doing what Puka did last year.
Well, all right. Well, what Puka did last year was just abnormal, right?
But that's what I'm saying. So, you've got, that's what I'm saying. We're kind of drafting him at a ceiling.
But we're drafting Puka at his ceiling.
No, because if you're drafting Puka at his ceiling, you're drafting Puka above Jamar Chase, above A.J. Brown.
No.
Yeah, because that's what his ceiling
maybe
was.
above A.J. Brown.
So that's what I'm saying. But in terms of where you're drafting Harrison, you're drafting him more ahead of ceiling, up there with guys.
I think he's worth it there at the turn. If I'm the 12th pick and I leave with Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison, I freaking
and I've done that at the 12th
Me
pick.
too.
And I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I love that right there.
But that's because I'm taking Wilson there and I'm taking Harrison. The only reason why I'd rather go Devontae Adams and one of those two guys is because I know what I'm getting in Devontae Adams, in the volume, in the pedigree, and what he's going to do. And I know then I'm taking a chance on a rookie, or I'm taking a chance.
Do you like the quarterback play in Arizona, or do you like the quarterback play in Vegas?
I like the quarterback play in Arizona.
So do you not want the number 1 receiver for that team?
I mean, you could argue that, yeah, but he's also a rookie.
I don't care.
I'm just saying he's also a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about the rookie. I mean, we saw rookies like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Now,
they all come in and make significant
I like
impacts.
Malik Neighbors as a rookie wide receiver, and we don't have to hang up too much time on this, but I like Malik Neighbors as a better rookie wide receiver
than Marvin Harrison?
Than coming into the season than Marvin Harrison. Not in terms of fantasy football, in terms of...
Are you trying to get me fired up?
No, if Malik Neighbors got drafted to Arizona instead of to the Giants, and it was reversed around, we'd be drafting Malik Neighbors up where Marvin Harrison is. Yes.
Probably.
Yes. And then I'm just saying he falls into a good situation.
I think Neighbors goes higher. I think Neighbors still falls outside of behind Devontae Adams and that. I think Neighbors is really, really talented. I don't think he's as good of as polished of a route runner as Marvin Harrison is. And I think Marvin Harrison fits really well into that offense. Whereas you have Daniel Jones throwing the football.
Yeah, well, I'm not putting Marvin Harrison up here or Neighbors up here now. I'm saying if the roles are reversed. But regardless, Marvin Harrison is somebody I like. I'm going to take him at the turn.
Yeah.
And if he happens to fall past the turn, and you're one of those guys who's 10th pick, second round, you're in the 10th spot and he comes past you there too as well, I'll take him. If you're in the 8th spot and he swings around, he's still there for you, take him. It's a guy that I don't want to be leaving if I'm at the tail end of the draft.
I think in PPR he's a first round pick.
Yeah, we just said that. In terms of other receivers there, though, you have Michael Wilson. Greg Dortch is firing up in training camp. Just a bunch of names that you aren't seeing really drafted in fantasy because their value is so limited.
I mean, a late round flyer on Michael Wilson. I think this is.
I'd take a chance on Dortch too.
Yeah, I mean I like Wilson over Dortch. I think Dortch is going to be maybe best ball scenario. He might get a big game here or there. I think Michael Wilson has a chance to be a solid number 2 receiver on the outside.
We like
big
him last
body
year.
guy. Yeah, so. I think Michael Wilson is a guy that I would take a chance on 14th, 15th round. You can probably get him for free. He's starting the season mostly on waiver wire. So I do like this offense. But we'll move on to Trey McBride at the tight end position. I know he's flying up the draft boards from last year where he was not drafted whatsoever. We saw the pass catching ability just showcased throughout the entire season. Are you worried at all with his rapport with Kyler Murray now?
No.
Do you think that he's going to repeat what he was able to do last season?
Yeah.
Do you think his value is too high?
Yeah.
So where do you think you would draft him?
To me, I think him and Laporta are too high.
You think Laporta's too high too?
Yeah. Laporta's going second round. Kelsey's been going third round. And then you also have McBride in the third round or fourth round. Like, everybody's forgetting about Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews had a hip drop tackle on him last year. Mark Andrews was going to be tight end 1.
No. TJ Hawkinson was going to be
tight
end
yeah,
1.
Sorry, take that back. TJ would have been tight end 1.
Both got
Andrews,
hurt,
but Mark Andrews was tight end 1 at that time.
Yep.
Again, Hawkinson hurt, different injury. Andrews is back and he's healthy. You also have George Kittle, who finished in top 3 tight ends, top 4 tight ends last year.
Only tight end to
break 1,000 yards.
1,000.
Like and Evan Ingram had the most targets as a tight end and finished just under 1,000 yards. He could easily be the number 1 pass catcher in Jacksonville.
Stop that.
I'm just saying he was last year in terms of targets. He led that team in targets.
Stop that.
You say stop that. What value did that he bring to the team the year before? He was one of the top pass catchers the year before that.
I understand that. But
and then you bring in Calvin Ridley, and it changes the whole offense. So regardless,
the targets aren't turning into production for him, for Ingram. That's why I don't value.
They were the year before. And they were still last year. He had over 100 catches. Still,
no, again
100 receptions.
Production, and he still wasn't above Calvin Ridley. He still wasn't above Kirk Cousins or
we already talked about Jacksonville, but I'm just saying there's other tight ends there that are going to give you the opportunity and value that don't blow away your ADP and your picks with the value of those receivers and running backs up there to just get a tight end.
Yeah, during the initial phase of best ball drafting, I found myself drafting a couple Trey McBride and getting him in the 3rd and 4th round. When he dropped down, I wanted to get a piece of him because the upside is there for him.
Yeah, it is.
Now we're a month or 2 outside of that. I don't find myself touching him at all. I think I'm back on the Kittle and Pitts train, and getting guys like that in the 5th and 6th.
I'm on the Kelsey train in the 3rd round.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's the best value you're going to get him. The guy's going to probably get close to 1,000 yards, if not over again. If he stays healthy. And then on top of that, he still put up better numbers than
because I'd rather get a receiver there or running back there. I mean, again,
agree.
So,
the value is different.
Yeah.
But let's take a quick break. We'll jump on over to the Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks.
When we get back, and we'll see you in a second.